What's going on, YouTubeites? Welcome to Lords of Longbox presents the CovrPrice comic book shakers of the week ending or the week of December 16th. Shout out to everybody who was able to join us. As I pinned in the live comment, please no Spider-Man spoilers. I'm going to see it at right after this show at 7:30. So please no spoilers or you will get booted out and never be able to return at all. Okay, so just be courteous to your fellow geeks, man.
That's
right.
A
lot of us kind of know what's happening, but it's still cool to see it unravel before your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because this is probably the biggest movie of 2021, to say the least. Since it's almost Friday, it's dealer's choice. And how about some freestyle music for Freestyle Friday? Let's get right to it while you guys are congregating, boys and girls.
The baddest on the microphone apparatus is here. When I rock a rhyme, often eyes are dropping a tear. It's so beautiful, it's America's landscapes when this man makes lyrics like the syrups that you pour upon your pancakes. My mandate is to grip minds like a handshake. Spit Orlando Lakes and go skinny dip with the fan base. Over any damn breakbeat, I hastily make pastries tastier than anything that Wolfgang makes. So take notes out of suckers, I make coats, lump of some like Bubba Gump fishing on lake boats. I take jokes and turn the comedy into drama. I'm bagging on your mama, I'm Jeffrey Dahmer behind ya. I'm a rhyme writer, lock stock, smoking the ganja. Rebuttals befuddle, leaving a puddle of saliva, sillies. You couldn't handle Randall when I throw my grammar at you. It hit your head and you would think I threw a hammer at you. I point the camera at you like Herb Ritz. Develop it, then use the pictures to pick up bird shits. You're nervous as the impervious wordsmiths hanging out in Rafa's new crib come with the verses.
I always love it when he drops the lines, baby. I actually watched the interview the other day. Hilarious.
That's right. Well, I figure Freestyle Friday got freestyle music and then freestyle raps. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. We also want a special shout out to my man Gabe's Love 90s Comics, has officially become a moderator for the Lords and is officially part of the Lords family. I was trying to get him on the show today, but man, I'm just pressed for time. But welcome Gabe's Loves 90s Comics to the Lords family.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the live chat. What's good, Darkside Jedi?
What's he got to do? Like, what's the hazing? He's got to run through the quad butt naked or something? I mean, how's that work? Anyway, welcome aboard, Gabe.
You got to be a cool dude, and I know him personally, so Gabe is a very knowledgeable cat, and I'm pretty sure he'll use the wrench. Remember, Gabe, with great power comes great responsibility.
It's great responsibility. Well, welcome to Thursday nights, everybody. It's Thursday night, my favorite night of the week. We got a great list tonight. Damn, people might actually get more than one, maybe.
Good chance for two. Right, JB? Say good. What's good to the people, JB?
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the show. You know what night it is. It's Thursday night. It's the Shaker Show. And wait till you hear some of the backstories on these books. That's what makes this show better than anything else on YouTube. Just wait till you hear some of the backstories on this books. Fantastic show tonight. Welcome aboard. Everyone, give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. If you're not subbed to the channel, what are you doing already? Come on.
Yeah. And back from our man from Amsterdam, Jack. Say what's up.
Oh, yeah. Happy to be back, man. Big weekend, as you mentioned, Spider-Man weekend. You got to love when the energy in the comics community is kind of full force in front of a weekend like this. So going to be a big one.
Yes. Once again, to all the wrenches in the live chat, if you see anybody put a spoiler, put them on timeout, boot them out. Nobody wants a spoiler. We kind of know what's going to happen, but hey, we're still going to watch it. I am watching it in exactly in an hour and 20 minutes, so we should get right to it, man. I'll be seeing it at least 2 or 3 times this weekend with the different groups of people. So it's one of those things that brings everybody together. Finally, you can see something, and it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I was like, man, do I want to see it at 9:30 tonight? I was like, it's 7:30. Sounds like a good time, good crowd. You got to see it opening day. This show is sponsored by our friends over at CovrPrice.com. Go to CovrPrice.com for all your price guides, collections, and trends, all for the low price monthly of, you got it, a McRib.
Yeah, baby.
This show is also sponsored by our friends at KRSComics.com. Go to KRSComics.com. Use discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off any KRS Comics exclusives. Also, our show is sponsored by the Geeky Swag. I bring this up because it's getting cold out there. Get yourself a Lords of the Long Box hoodie. You can get the zip up or the pullover and some T-shirts. If you're still down with that, use discount code LOTLB. Save yourself some Skrilla. There is this, for some reason, December seems to be a slow month for variants. This is, was one of the variants that was dropped earlier this week. But right now, there's a Venom Appreciation variant from Mike Mayhew. Limited time offer from December 17th to December 31st. You get that. That's like a Pokemon kind of variant thing, right? If spend over $50 at KRS Comics and add this item to your cart and get it for free. So remember how some of these were really kind of selling out the first time they were doing it. So there you go. So Merry Christmas from the KRS Comics crew. So special Venom Appreciation variant from December 17th to December 31st. Spend $50 more and you're going to get this bad boy, Chichilazar or whatever his name is. What is that weird dragon?
Charizard or some shit.
Yeah, Chizard or whatever, man. But anyway, let's get right to it, boys and girls. Where are my notes? All right, this list comes from our friends at CovrPrice, focusing on new sales of the most interesting sales. Found on their exclusive daily Shakers list. This list changes several times every day, so make sure you check it out every day. Review some of the hottest trending books on the market. And yes, we will go and see what's shaking today, but we picked out 10 out of the 50 over the last few week to see what kind of jumps out at you. Let's start it off with number 1. What do we got for? I think Jack's going first, right?
I'm gonna lead it off here. We're talking about a classic. Bone number 1 from Cartoon Books in 1991. The first appearance of Bone is back on our Shakers list this week with 2 massive new records. The first, a 9.2, beat out the same record in grade the last time it appeared on our list 6 months ago in June. With that June sale, a CGC 9.2 went for a record $3,840, and now it's up 62% with a sale of $5,640. The second is a 9.6, which smashed the former high of 2,500 back in September of 2020 with this week's new high of 7,500. What a week for Bone. The first print of Bone number 1 is scarce to come across, especially for a relatively modern book. The print run was only 2,000, and there are just 321 universal copies graded on the CGC census. It's tough to say where the top is for this book, but clearly it's still trending up as demand exceeds the very limited supply.
Think about that for a second. Think about 1991 with a print run of only 2,000, and arguably 1991 was the height of just
mega print runs, $1 million print run or million copy print runs.
Yeah, and this has had a cult following for a long time and damn near impossible to find. But if you look in the boneyard, perhaps
every few years you see this pop up again.
Yeah,
and it just keeps going up every time I see it pop up.
Bone out, yeah. That's also, hey man, shout out to everybody I played poker with at Comics, Tunes, and Toys over the weekend. A bunch of comic book collectors. We all got together. We played a Texas No Limit Hold'em tourney. About 11 of us. Everybody bought a $100 value book, and the winner went home with 11 books. It was awesome. We'll probably be doing it again in January. So shout out to the winner. I hadn't played poker in about 4 or 5 years, so at least I wasn't the first one out. I was like the seventh. I was like, I made it like, 3 people had, went out before me, but I went out on a really bad draw. I got beat on the river and it was nasty. I'm still bitter about it. But anyway, Bone, issue number 1 from Cartoon Books.
Did you have a 3-ace flop?
Yes.
Oh my God!
There was one hand where 3 aces flop on the river. On the river, 3 aces. Wow. That is the scariest flop you will ever see because nobody wants to bet it, right? Because even if you're holding an ace, you're like, how do I slow play this? Anybody who bets are going to be like, man, you got an ace, right? So it was an interesting hand to play out. But all right, Bone. We go from Bone issue number 1 to something that is incredibly rare for something that's relatively new. What do we got for number 2?
This is awesome. The Daily Bugle Special Edition newspaper, limited to 3,000 copies, just distributed by Sony Pictures. Now, the new Spider-Man movie No Way Home hit theaters this weekend. Marvel Sony isn't lacking in the creativity department, releasing a limited edition Daily Bugle newspaper to coincide with the film's release. This ingenious bit of marketing is pretty cool, considering all the information directly tied to the film. There's one small spoilery detail that will easily be overlooked, but could have major ramifications for the MCU down the road. Now, distributed through a pop-up newsstand, some New York City residents got quite a treat. Those who are lucky enough to scoop up one might be surprised to know that it's a huge hit on the secondary market. Prices for this rarity continue to rise and show no signs of slowing down, with bidding frenzies pushing it to a high of $200. It's a promotional publication distributed by Sony Pictures Marketing with Liberty Mutual Insurance that appeals to a wide range of fans, not limited to comic collectors, making it a unique Spidey collectible that cannot be overlooked. It's a newspaper. Wow.
This has got to be a first, really, man. That is awesome. That is pretty awesome, man. And only in New York City, obviously, because it takes, obviously Spider-Man is very New York centric, but how cool is that? There was just a little pop-up newsstand. I wonder if they were just handing them out, if they were free. I mean, if anything, they probably didn't cost much. I mean, for the average person who probably saw it, they probably just like, meh, no big.
I wonder if there was like a newsstand call boy or whatever, whatever.
Hey, extra.
Yeah. Handing these things out on the corner. That is so cool.
Nowadays, kids are like, what's a newspaper? Bro, I'm going to go away. I'll take you back into a time machine. Way back before the internet, kids, boys and girls. To find out when a movie started, we had to look in a newspaper, right?
Newspapers that was one of are the things your grandma wraps her china in.
Yep. Yeah. And what else would be great? I mean, besides the Daily Bugle, if they did a Daily Planet for Superman. Because you think about DC and Marvel, those are the 2 major newspaper publications. But how cool is that, man? So if you guys see this out in the wild somewhere, man, snatch it up, because if the movie is doing gangbusters as it's supposed to do, this could be a collector's item way down the road, man. Who knows? Maybe even CGC like, you know what? We'll slab it. Who knows? All right. So we go to Bone to a newspaper to, we got to have a horror book on the Shakers list. What do we got for number 3?
Yeah, baby. We love horror. And this is Eerie number 12 from Avon series from good old 1953. Eerie 12 is the first comic book adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula horror novel released in 1953. This is a comic book authority by Avon series. This issue is also the first full-length story found in Eerie Comics. Instead of several short stories, Eerie 12 is the first full-length issue. It follows the tale of Count Dracula, who buys a house in England with the help of real estate agent Jonathan Harker, who has no idea he has a vampire living off the blood of unsuspecting victims. This comic rarely comes up for sale, so it was a surprise when a CGC 5.5 hit the market last week and fetched a tidy sum of $840. Gouging fair market value is next to, or I'm sorry, gauging. fair market value is next to impossible, as a previous documented sale at a 5.5 was from 2013, and it was for $120. A raw, very good minus sold 6 months ago for $265, and a low grade raw recently sold for $300. Across the board, pre-code horror books have seen a nice market resurgence of interest, and likely prices will continue to trend upwards.
Call me crazy, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna. This is a. Do you the Batman? It's the cover with Two-Face on the cover. That swipes this cover. If you recognize that.
Yeah.
I forget what the issue
right
is.
Behind me. Yeah.
No.
The one that Neil Adams did as cover
Neil
swipe.
Adams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to me, $840 seems like a steal.
That seems
to me.
really like a steal.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Especially for a first Dracula.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys are. I'm a big fan of the movie that came out in, I think, the 90s or 2000s, based on it was, I think Keanu Reeves was in it. That version of Batman, Bram Stoker's Batman. I really thought that was good. If you guys remember, I mean, it's. I remember as a kid watching Dracula movies, and I used to be scared as shit because remember, they would always be on a carriage on a hurry to get somewhere before it got dark, right? And you'd always say, "Why didn't you guys leave earlier? Why are you leaving right when at sunlight?" It's like those old Dracula movies.
Coming up, the fog starts rolling.
Yeah, but Bram Stoker's Dracula, the film, is really great. I think it's totally underrated. Goddamn, who played him? He was Commissioner Gordon in Batman.
Yeah.
What's his name? Help me out.
Good old, what's his name?
Good old,
Oldman. Gary Oldman. Gary
Oldman's fantastic.
Yeah, Gary Oldman played Dracula in that film, and it's fantastic. I even like the other one, the newest one that came out that showed like the origins of Vlad the Impaler, of like how he became to be Dracula when Universal tried to build their cinematic monster universe. I think that's a great Dracula film too. Those two to me stand out, for there. But Eerie, number 12 from 1953. 5.5 for $840. That's a steal to me. I'm sorry, man, but all right, we go to from Dracula to a Hellish Boy.
That's right. We're looking at Hellboy the Fury number 3, the Mike Mignola Virgin variant from Dark Horse in 2011. And those of you who aren't diehard Hellboy fans, this was a huge deal for the character back in 2011. This specific issue was the culmination of 18 years of Hellboy stories, concluding with this issue's brutal, physical, and emotional battle between Hellboy and the dragon Nimue, where Hellboy's heart is ripped from his chest and his time on Earth ends. This was a shock to fans, and the issue immediately sold out everywhere. Collectors had difficulty finding this regular issue, let alone this actual ghost of a variant. The scarcity surrounding this was explicitly due to Dark Horse's strict criteria to qualify for a copy. To receive one of these virgin covers, retailers needed to match or exceed their order for Hellboy the Fury number 1 with a minimum of 20 copies. So those who only ordered 19 copies of the first issue, sorry, nope, they didn't get one. Keep in mind that very few knew that Hellboy was getting killed off in this issue, and in 2011, retailers were having a hard enough time moving big books like Amazing Spider-Man, which had its lowest print runs during that year. With that said, very few stores were committing to more than a few copies of Hellboy, let alone 20 plus, and this is why Hellboy the Fury number 3, the Virgin variant, is one of the rarest and most expensive modern-day variants. As seen by this week's new all-time high sale of $1,225 for a raw copy, Hellboy's stories continued with him in hell, which led to more great storylines like vanquishing Satan and taking over hell completely. However, this death stuck for quite a while, and he didn't return to the living until 2018's BPRD The Devil You Know #6. While this very abbreviated rundown doesn't do the Fantastic Fury story proper justice, it's one of the best Hellboy stories, and it is worth reading.
Yeah, I am a big fan of the first two Hellboy movies. I think they're very especially the second one, very underrated. The third one I wasn't, too crazy about, but the second one with I think it was Hellboy and the Golden Army or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That one was badass. I don't, and it didn't get quite the box office. Like if it were to come out now, I think it would do better than when it did, right? And I think it was what's his name? The Mexican director did it, or
Guillermo del Toro.
I believe it was Guillermo del Toro who did Hellboy 1 and 2. And Hellboy 2 is fantastic, from the Golden Army to all the different kind of creatures, and even the fighting. They used some great sword martial arts for the remember the twins, the guy and his sister, when they were fighting. I mean, go watch that film again. Cool it holds up with some of the Marvel and DC's best, to me, in my opinion. I love those Hellboy movies. The last one, not so much, but I think they did a fantastic job with all the quirky characters, and but I just think it was not a good time for it. Like now, if it were to come out, I think it would blow up the way comic book properties have blown up, or it would find itself at somewhere, Netflix, Amazon Prime, or something. Bring back Hellboy. That's what I say. So, Hellboy.
I'm a little confused. So, in this particular issue that we're showing here, he dies in this issue, is what we're saying.
Correct.
Didn't they have previews back in 2011? Didn't people know in advance that he was going to be dying?
A lot of times they don't tell you what major things like that in a story. Like, like now it's advertised like the death of Doctor Strange, the death of Wolverine, but
or
for
you
something
read the next preview and they leave you some blurb about what happened in the previous issue, and you still get a heads up.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't do that.
Nobody ever.
No, I feel like things were a lot more surprising. There was more like catch you off guard moments back then, before kind of the publishers got this like formulaic style of putting out solicitations that seemed like expressly intended on riling up the speculation community.
Exactly. That's a great point. I mean, nowadays it's like, if you think about it, Bad Idea is the perfect example, right? Of hey, this is coming out, or something like, people, they know they're starting to get the feeling of what the aftermarket is nowadays, right?
Yep.
Or even they'll say, you know what, we'll sell more copies if we announce that a show has been optioned before issue 1 even drops, right? If you think about that, if you think about Noctera, a lot of people knew about that. The latest news is God Country has finally found itself a showrunner. If you remember, maybe 2 years ago, Donna Cates said, shit, I done said it. Shout out to Donna Cates and everything you do for the community. Do you remember Donna Cates tweeted out that I'm writing the screenplay for God Country, right? But that was like, I don't know. Oh, God, it feels like 2 years ago. And it caused a bump for the comic, and then people just kind of gave up for a while, because tons of things get optioned and not everything gets greenlit. But now, in the year 2021, when something gets optioned, there's so many platforms it can show up on that, from theatrical release, from Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Apple TV. I mean, it goes on. It's so many different things. It's like, everybody's got a show. Like I was watching the Emmys last year or whenever, and these shows I never even heard of were being nominated. And I was thinking to myself, what even channel is this on? How do I even find it? Then Peacock TV, which is free, by the way, if you didn't know that, is another streaming service. I mean, you add that to the list. It's kind of crazy, everything that's going on, man. But before we, since we're halfway through there, let's go and see what's happening with our sponsor. Are you tired of paying 1% or 10%? Join the 1% revolution.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabs.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com and join the 1% revolution.
And on top of that, boys and girls, I was just talking to Ken over at My Slabs today. They are doing a holiday giveaway. I'll leave it in the live chat right there. All you have to do is follow them and share that post, and you can win a ASM 300 9.0 for free. All you have to do is follow them. It's I put it in the live chat there. It's actually My Slabs has a few accounts. It's MySlabs_comics. But just click on that link, follow them, share it, and get a chance to win ASM 300. What's wrong with that, right? That's pretty damn good.
Nothing's wrong. Awesome.
Free.
Awesome.
It's free, boys and girls. So just for the holidays. So My Slab's giving you something back. All right, we go from Hellboy to this weird comic, which maybe people have a chance to get on. Maybe.
All right, next up, we've got Marvel Boy issue number 1, the J.G. Jones Dynamic Forces variant, limited to only 4,000 copies, originally published in 2000 from Marvel Comics. There are numerous conversations around various Marvel-type characters appearing in the MCU. Many wonder if we'll ever see Marvel, the original Captain Marvel. Now, his clone daughter, Phyla-Vell, is also trending in a big way due to rumors of her appearing in the next Guardians film. However, with Marvel's tendency to weave together origins and characters, there's growing speculation that we may first see Marvel Boy, a.k.a. Noah Var. Now, Noah Var is a Kree warrior from an alternate universe. You ready for this one? Enhanced with cockroach DNA and nanobiology.
Sweet.
Right? Now, he's been weaved through the comic versions of Secret Invasion, Young Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. With Marvel moving to a younger cast, the likelihood of seeing Noah Var first is relatively high. Now, the market seems interested in the character and has already been driving up prices of the first full appearance. Now, this particular Dynamic Forces variant is hitting big numbers, like this week's new high of $336 for a raw sale. Now, that was in the UK, but still. Now, with an all-time high of $725 for a CGC 9.8. Man, that's big money. However, the standard edition is still moderately priced with an FMV of only $35. This book seems to be climbing with or without MCU confirmation, similar to the trends with Elsa Bloodstone and Adam the Blue Marvel. It's definitely a book we're watching. And an offer for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, as soon as I heard cockroach DNA, I had to find out who the writer was, and good old Grant Morrison for you.
Yeah, what's up with the Gimp girl on the cover there too? That's really sketchy. I was just looking at that at the bottom of the cover there. Reminds me of Pulp Fiction. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. Phyla-Vell has been talked about. I mean, Marvel kind of jumped the shark or put the cart before the horse when they introduced Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel, and they did Marvel was Annette Bening, right? We didn't get a proper true Marvel story, right? And from the comics, right? Like if they would have introduced him first and did the Death of Captain Marvel, like the graphic novel, all that, it would have been fantastic and weave that into it. But they had to deviate a little bit. So hopefully one day they can bring. Captain Marvel already has a name, but now they have Marvel. And if you ever think about Quasar, wasn't he called Kid Marvel or some shit? I'm trying to think about that, or something like that from the Hulk issue. I'm trying to remember. Before he was Quasar, he was called something else. It's like, put it this way, it's just everybody is specking on these kind of cosmic characters, right? Because when we see the Marvels, that's kind of what gave a tip off that we're going to see, more people in the realm of, because we know it's going to be Captain Marvel, both Captain Marvels, and then Miss Marvel as well. And who knows who will show up in the Marvels, because it's been pretty tight-lipped on what they're doing. Marvel Boy. That's who it was. I could have swore there was a Marvel Boy before, right? Before he became Quasar. Wasn't he Marvel Boy?
I don't know. Yeah,
he was called Marvel Boy before he became Quasar. And that was like the early issue in Captain America. So he would debut as Marvel Boy, and then he became Quasar, and then now there's a different Quasar. So go figure. But as you can tell when you watch like Disney Plus or Marvel shows, they take a little bit of what they already built in, because when they started the MCU, they had limited characters they could use, so they kind of had to work around it. But now that as they gained everything back, they're like, all right, we can kind of pull from the comics and then pull from the MCU, and then we can weave our own stories. And now that they have the Netflix characters back too, for those who saw Hawkeye, so it'd be interesting to see how that's introduced as well. So there you go. So Marvel Boy #1, but this is the J.G. Jones Dynamic Forces variant, limited to 4,000. I just found my Dynamic Forces Battle Chasers #2 Chromium, so I'm excited about that, man. It's I have 1 through 6 of Battle Chasers in my long boxes. I finally found them, but all right, here's a good chance for everybody to get on the board. You guys ready?
Man, my favorite book of the night. It's New Teen Titans #1 from DC Comics back in 1980. Teen Titans #1. This book introduced the Teen Titans that everyone lovingly recognizes and was DC Comics' most and unfortunately only successful comic during the height of its popularity. A CGC graded copy in 9.6 recently sold for $310, and a new high sale of all time $520 for a CGC 9.8. George Perez, legendary comic artist and co-creator of the New Teen Titans, and literally the nicest guy in the industry, has announced that he's battling terminal cancer. Unfortunately, his contributions to the comic world will experience a much-deserved increase in attention. Mr. Perez came to DC from Marvel, and together with former Marvel writer and editor Marv Wolfman, relaunched the Teen Titans, taking the characters from disregarded sidekicks to young heroes facing villains, teenage runaways, religious cults, drugs, and betrayal from within. New Teen Titans introduced Raven, Cyborg, Deathstroke. It gave the Doom Patrol new life and transitioned Dick Grayson from Robin to Nightwing during its run. From a collector and a fan perspective, one cannot say enough about this book, and it all began here. New Teen Titans #1. Perez's resume is rife with notable work, including post-crisis Wonder Woman and the legendary Marvel DC crossover, JLA Avengers.
Yeah, there's been some petitions for them to the publishers to re-release JLA and Avengers so that Perez can get some money from it. But here's the one controversial say. You know what? I was just gonna say that too, Gabe. Is that the X-Men and the Teen Titans at the same time? They were I think the X-Men made Teen Titans popular for what it was, because they were kind of weird, kind of different, and they were young, similar to the New Mutants or the X-Men. If you think about the X-Men was our generation of superheroes, and our father's generation of superheroes was the Justice League of America or the Avengers or those old type teams. But a lot of times the morbidity of collecting kicks in when somebody passes away, right? When Stan Lee passed away, everything went shot through the roof. George Perez said he has 6 months to live. I would say, instead of buying, if you're gonna buy back up old issues of George Perez, why don't you see if there's a signing that he's doing so you can give him some money so that he can leave it behind? You know what I mean? It's because the aftermarket sales, George Perez doesn't get anything from it. So if you can see it, because I believe George Perez may be doing signings still. He's not doing art anymore since he's blind in one eye, so he can no longer draw, but he's still doing signatures. So hopefully CGC can do a signing for him, so where if you do buy these books, you could have him sign it, and that way he gets some money to leave for his family. Because knowing you have a finite time to live is kind of crazy, right? The doctors gave him 6 months to live, so. There's a saying, give flowers to people while they're still alive, as opposed to after they've passed away. You know what I mean? And, the outpouring of love that he's gotten ever since he came out with this. So hopefully either through the Hero Initiative Fund or something else, that they can, help him out so that his family isn't left with, medical bills or whatnot. So, if you have some Titans books or any George Perez books, see if there's some signing. If the next Perez signing is doing, I would imagine it's a private signing, but do whatever you can to get some books signed and pay the man whatever it takes. I will. I'm going to send him whatever I can and just to help it out. You know what I mean? So, New Titans #1 from 1980. It's good to see some Perez good. And that's just a classic cover too, man. Some of the Perez internal art is so detailed. It is amazing, the artwork that George Perez does, and he did some killer wraparound covers too. And of course, I don't know, every collector should have Justice League and the Avengers crossover, right? The book.
Oh, and don't forget, there's an X-Men Teen Titans crossover too.
Yeah.
Almighty, nice.
Wolfman and Perez, they'll go down as Claremont and Byrne as some of the great teams in comics, man. All right. And as always, this week, we always seem to find one of these weird Viz books on here. What is it this week?
That's right. We've got Shonen Jump #1, sealed with card from Viz Media from 2003. And while not a typical comic, this magazine is filled with popular manga storylines. Shonen Jump was the primary source of material translated from Japan to the US. While it's digital only these days, this series has an extensive and popular print run. If you ever dug for comics in stores that resell secondhand collectibles, then you've most likely come across these and probably left them. At the very least, look for this first issue. This week, a sealed copy sold for $450, which isn't even the highest sale. That goes to the $600 sale back in September of 2021. This first issue features a two-sided cover like all Shonen Jumps and typically sells loose for as high as $100. Though, pay attention to My Comic Shop, which frequently throws them up for $4, in which they sell out immediately. So why the premium for a sealed copy? Well, those sealed copies include a rare Blue Eyes White Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card, which can sell for as high as $900 in a PSA 10.
God.
There are multiple versions of this card, several included in foreign versions of this magazine as well, and it's time to pay closer attention to the stack of Shonen Jumps. As noted, this is a flip cover, so make sure you look out for the main cover.
That is crazy. I mean, every couple of weeks we get some crazy Viz Media comic that shows up on here. So it just, read the tea leaves. It's just anything anime related, anything video game related that Viz Media is doing. And this one I would have never known about, man. I mean, because I thought Yu-Gi-Oh cards were Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, whatever,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Man. Yeah, I mean, but apparently there's still a big thing. There's, kids are still collecting them, maybe. I mean, but I also think it's a nostalgia collecting thing where the people who collected these cards when 2003 when they were kids, we're talking 18 years later, right? So now they're adults with hopefully careers or jobs, and they have more income that they can go out and say and buy things out of nostalgia. Because in 2003, maybe they were 8-9 years old collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I always think Yu-Gi-Oh, man. I'm hungry. I'm thinking about Korean barbecue. I'm sorry.
Nice.
But I think it's now more than ever is nostalgia buys. We see it all the time with comics, like kids who grew up as 90s babies buying 90s comics, the hologram, the foil covers, all the collectibles in the 90s when you were kids are hot again because adults have disposable income, hopefully. As you have a career and, our toys get more and more expensive. Our toys as adults are a lot more expensive than our toys when we were children. You know what? Yeah. You know what I mean? And Agreed. They know this. I mean, just look at some of the hot toys or the statues and you think, man, those things are incredibly high priced. But Shonen Jump #1, sealed with Blue Eyes White Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh card.
You still got it wrong. It's classic.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yugogi. Okay. All right. Yugi. All right. Yu-Gi-Oh card collectors.
Like you would wear.
A karate gi. Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Bulagi. Yeah, I'm hungry.
Bukaki.
Stop it.
Whoa,
now you're getting crazy.
Whoa.
That's not on the menu. That's not a menu. Time out on Ryan. All right. Shonen Jump #1. What do we got next?
All right, here we go. Next up, we've got This Magazine is Haunted, issue number 14, originally published in 1953 from Fawcett. Skull covers are always in demand when it comes to pre-code horror comics, and this book has that covered. This week, we had a flaming hot sale for a CGC 6.0 copy of this book with a new overall record of $3,360. This beats out the prior record of $716 for a 3.5 from April of this year and dwarfs the sale for the highest graded publicly sold copy from our records. This was a CGC 7.5, and that's the second highest copy on the census behind a single 8.0 that went for a mere $425 in 2013. I wonder if that was a private sale. Now, the market for pre-code horror books has changed a lot since then, but this is still an incredible sale that will likely have more collectors searching out this often overlooked run of books.
That is such a dope cover.
Fire, man. Look at that.
It says on the cover, "I am Dr. Death. Enter my magazine and see the horrors of the damned." That is so awesome, man. Just look at the colors of this from 1953. I mean, even nowadays you don't see these type of colors, because really people will think, it's kind of dated. To me, I love it. I love the old like EC horror books and the bright colors that popped, and dare I say it's a possible first inspiration for Ghost Rider and Flaming Skull. You never know. And then Flaming Skulls have been around forever, right. But So this magazine is haunted, number 14. I love the title too. Like, this magazine is haunted. It's like if you buy it, you're gonna get cursed. Like, if you like The Ring, you watch that video, you're gonna die in 3 days. But not this.
Imagine some 1950s housewife looking under the bed and finding this in Jimmy's room. Oh my gosh!
Seduction of the youth, right? Or is that Seduction of the Innocent? Whatever it was, where they were talking about how comic books are corrupting the youth and some of that wacky weed as well. So, so this is all pre-code, and then the people started finding out what their kids are reading. And kids are like,
have you ever seen like Martha?
Yeah, you ever seen movies where kids are like, go to time to go to bed, little Jimmy, and but he's like, his covers over, he's got his flashlight, he's reading these horror comics, he's like, that's awesome, man. All right, so we go from this magazine is haunted to something a little bit newer.
Totally Awesome Hulk number 15. This is a Sing variant from 1:25 ratio from 2017. And with Marvel's focus on Asian-based superheroes, most collectors rush to buy War of the Realms, the Agents of Atlas, which features several new first appearances. However, most of this team first formed in this Totally Awesome Hulk issue. Agent Jaco, Jimmy Woo, Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi, and Silk meet up during a charity event to raise awareness for Asian American bone marrow donation and end up hanging out and, of course, fight some bad guys. After working together, they formed a new team called the Protectors. Jimmy Woo eventually enlists them to join the Agents of Atlas. Randall Park's portrayal of Jimmy Woo is already a fan favorite character, and we want to see more of. So the question is, what do we see first? Will we see the Protectors or Agents of Atlas? We're still leaning towards the Protectors, I think.
Yeah.
But
we shall see. It's almost like a precursor to like the new the Agents of Atlas, right? When you got them, and they just kind of formed this team, like a one-time thing. They were called the Protectors. But I mean, we already saw Jimmy Woo dropping bars. Why not?
I was saying, he did a little foreshadowing.
Everything he's in Marvel is awesome. He's hilarious. I mean, like you just expect him to do magic tricks whenever he sees them. Ever since like Ant-Man 2, right? When he shows up in WandaVision, right? When he does the business card, because Scott Lang showed him how to do that. So give us more Jimmy Woo. Let him woo us some more. It would be awesome for him to form it because he's got quite the history in the Marvel universe. He's been around for a long time. It's not just the modern books. It goes all the way back to the original Agents of Atlas, which was like in the 60s. I'm trying to remember the original Agents of Atlas. It's been around for a while, but then this new iteration is obviously in the younger team of that is most all Asians, and they handle like. If you read the new Agents of Atlas, it was like things that took place in Asia with the Pan-Asian flair to it. They were fighting off things, but maybe they call the Protectors. I mean, the dragon in Shang-Chi was called the Great Protectors. So hey, you never know. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way. You've never seen Shang-Chi, by the way,
man. Bastard. I kicked him out of here. Get out of here.
I know, kick me out. But if you haven't seen the 4K release on Disney Plus of Shang-Chi, go see it. It is super dope to see in 4K, man. Totally dope. I still love the dragon at the end. That is so badass, man. When they went full on kaiju with the
it was sweet.
Giant soul sucker. Oh man. All right. Last one on the list, boys and girls, but don't go away because I'm going to see what's shaking today for at least 10 more minutes before I go see Spider-Man. What do we got last?
This one's been red hot this week, and we're talking about Ultimate Comics Spider-Man number 5 from Marvel in 2011. And this was an interesting trend to see over the past 7 days. This issue features the origin of Miles Morales' classic black and red costume. It also introduces Miles and Nick Fury for the first time. In this story, Miles ends up helping Fury defeat Electro and eventually sends him this iconic costume at the end of the issue, where we see him suited up for the very first time. It's interesting as this issue marks the first time when Miles truly became his own unique version of Spider-Man. It even ends with the line, "You're officially Spider-Man." Raw copies hit as high as $182.50 raw for a near mint plus copy. The current fair market value is $136. While this seems out of the blue, it makes sense and could have some significant increases down the road.
I've seen a lot of push for this one on Instagram. There's some few pages that really push this as the real first Miles as Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's some speculation that he won't be called Spider-Man for whatever reason, but because just like Spider-Woman won't be Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen eventually becoming, what was she called? Spider-Ghost, or what is she called? Ghost Spider now? Yeah, Ghost Spider. I still like Spider-Gwen better. So, can't wait to see it. But truly the next 12 months is going to be the year of Spider-Man, between Spider-Man Tonight, Far From No Way Home to into Across the Spider-Verse. It's really ramping up, and so look for all these issues. I would say in this Ultimate run, there are some great first issues with Ultimate Green Goblin. First time, there's some great storytelling. I remember even before 2011, I would say in the early 2000s, when the Ultimate line first came out, Ultimate X-Men was a hot book. It was like super, super hot. It was like the highest, because basically it was like, all right, let's retell the entire story of the X-Men, but let's modernize it, right? Even they took the Avengers and they just called them the Ultimates, but they made them more grounded. And basically the MCU is kind of loosely based on the more grounded version. Obviously from the African-American Nick Fury to some of the other iterations. I would have loved to seen the Ultimate versions of Hawkeye in the movie. He's more like Ronin than you would see. Ultimate's version of Hawkeye can make anything a weapon, similar to Bullseye. He could pull out a paper clip and kill you with it. Like, remember that in Bullseye in the Daredevil movie where he just killed a guy with a paper clip?
Yeah.
Ultimate Hawkeye was like, he can turn anything into a weapon because that's how good his marksmanship was. Good to we'll see that, man. I think this whole Ultimate Comics run, especially Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales, all that with the, it's only a matter of time before live action. Hopefully we'll see something in alluding to it in the Spider-Man No Way Home in 40 minutes from now for me. But while you guys are sitting there, let me see and show what's shaking today, boys and girls, because, the list changes on a daily basis. So let's go and see what's shaking today, boys and girls, as I seemingly transition from one place to another. Look at that. Boom. It used to take me a few minutes to figure this out, but all right. Go on to CovrPrice, $6.99 a month. You get the CovrPrice top 10. As you see, Spider-Man dominated the list. Spider-Man India, Battle Chasers. I won my McRib bet with him. These are the amount of units sold. Look at that, Batman 89, 32 units sold. That's a Batman. I'm digging this Dark Knight Steel book,
That's
by the
cool,
way. Too.
Yeah. Is that like swords and sorcery kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's like it's like the Dark Batman told in
medieval
Batman meets King Arthur kind of Excalibur type thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
you got to read it. It's pretty cool. All right, let's see what's shaking today, boys and girls. Look at that. We are first off the bat. We already have like a crazy horror book. Look at that.
Love it.
This is Black Cat Mystery number 50 from Harvey Comics. That is a gnarly. We're just talking about the colors. This came out in 1954. Look how awesome that is. Shocking horror radiates from white heat. 12,500 for 5.0. Ooh, doggy.
Wow.
I can honestly say I've never seen this before in person, but there you go. Horror books are making a comeback.
Dude, who's the artist of that cover? That's fantastic.
I don't know. Somebody will look it up on the live chat. Back in the day, they never really signed their name on there, but we know from our last week's list that Frank Frazetta did some early EC horror books. I've been bullish on this book, even though I do own one. Astonishing Tales number 25. This is the first appearance of Deathlock. $38.50 for a 9.8. Holy cow.
Wow.
That's not even the highest one. September 1st, 6,700. Yep. Deathlock is coming. That's all I got to say.
Well, that's the pen. Was that the? No, that is the regular one. I thought it was the pen variant. Wow.
No, that's a regular one. Is there a pence variant? Yeah, down here is 7 pence variant, 51 bucks for fair market value. There's a lot of those foreign comics. Let's look at this. Look at this Spawn 303. That's gnarly. That is dope.
Yeah, that's cool.
Almost looks like the Invincible cover that from Whatnot there, Jack. Right? The Whatnot Invincible giveaway.
It definitely has a little bit of that flow for sure.
Because he's standing off to the side. He's not perfectly centered.
Yeah.
But this is a Singapore Comic-Con version from 2019. 2,500 for 9.8, boys and girls.
Did we see the comment from Bonafide that was the first Perez art on that Deathlock book? Is that correct?
Possibly. Yeah, because it is. It's from. Let me see. It's from. What year is
Comic Book Countdown comes through with Leah Elias as the cover of that Black Cat. Great job.
Yeah, Black Cat. This is a famous Batman cover that I always liked. Todd McFarlane did the cover on this one. I got Jim Starlin was writing Batman. There you go. 2,500 for 9.8. There's also a second print of this, by the way. They have it down here. So the second print, if you notice, it has the DC logo at the bottom, where it says DC Comics aren't just for kids. The regular cover has just the bat in the logo there. If you see that there, so there, just know that there is and look how McFarlane signed his name in the little bat thing down here. That's dope. I mean, this is, McFarlane loves to draw capes, but this is even a little too crazy for Batman. That's like cape for days, man. Of course, Spider-Man books are dominating the list. I mean, you got Electro, Rhino. I mean, Black Suit Spider-Man. Some look at this, all over the place, man. Let's look at this. Fantastic Four #2. Nobody ever talks about #2. First appearance of the Skrulls, 1980, $1,980 for a 1.8. Wow. 1.8, 65 grand is the high sale, which was back in 2013. Of course, we all know Secret Invasion is coming. The Skrulls have already, made their appearance in the MCU, but Secret Invasion is coming to Disney Plus, which is supposed to be a big thing. Recently, I think the Russos just said how they said, like, Secret Invasion, they just said that there's going to be a huge, huge cast in it. Mobius getting some love. That last trailer was absolutely fantastic. Amazing Spider-Man 101, the regular edition. Oh, Spider-Man getting bitch slapped there by Mobius. 1,800 for an 8.0. That seems undervalued to me. A 9.8 for 23 grand, though, sounds about right. But you know what? 1,800 for an 8.0. I would totally get that. I should have kept mine. I had a 9.0. I should have kept it, but I traded it off. Damn it. First appearance of Kingpin, right?
Oh, Weird Mysteries. Look at that. Sorry.
First appearance of Kingpin. People are buying it up. I don't know why. He's already been popular. Yeah. What do you want to see?
Weird Mysteries.
Oh, Brains by Stanley Morse Comics. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Imagine your 1950s housewife coming and seeing your kids.
We got to take them in for help.
Oh, my goodness.
We got to take them to talk to the pastor because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Comics that have, this is a key comic. It says here, comics that have key character appearances, a low print run, or have been proven always to be in demand, and $1,500 for a raw comic. Highest known value, $4,600 in a 3.0. It just scarce. You just can't find them. You just can't find them at all. Look at this, Marvel Comics. That's dope. Really early. Issue number 34.
Cover. There's a lot going on there. A little bondage.
Is that the Human Torch or is that Toro? Yeah, no, that and the Human Torch, Death Defying Leap. This is like the Android Human Torch. This is Marvel Comics way early, 1942, man. The Fighting Yank.
Cobras
and some suspiciously
hooded figures.
Clan guys, man.
With green circles on their chest.
Yeah. That is $1,500 for a 3.0, man. It just goes to show you. It's got to see, like, I remember there was a time where Golden Age books didn't really fetch top dollar unless they were keys, but now it's like people are finding, like, you know what? These are really collectible pieces of art, as they should be, right? Speaking of collectible pieces of art, boom, Silver Surfer #1, man.
Damn, 9.6. Okay, we gotta.
And it's just his origin. I mean, it's not his first appearance. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's a fantastic.
Highest known value is a 9.8, is 36 grand. I would say they really redid this story when John Byrne did his one shot of Silver Surfer, and it kind of told the story of for the longest time, Silver Surfer was stuck on Earth. And I think in that one shot that John Byrne did, he finally released and he could fly out into space. Because if the original Silver Surfer trilogy, when the Fantastic Four, Galactus kind of banished him to Earth and he couldn't leave Earth. He was earthbound for like the longest time. And then he finally was able to leave Earth and then, be sent in all the spaceways. Here, Ryan, you remember this?
Yeah.
I pulled Ryan a 9.8 at on a mystery box.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you don't know about these are the Chromium collector's editions that came out in 1998. A raw dog sold for $1,200.
Wow.
9.9 in $5 grand, and 9.9 is capable of getting it because of the Chromium. But I want to show you some of the other the Chromium ones that they have as well. This one as well is pretty dope.
That's cool.
Yeah,
this is obviously the Todd McFarlane cover. This one's $1,200 for 9.8 too. So anytime you see these Marvel collectibles, snatch them up. They are you don't see them come up for sale.
So go to that Batman Adventures real quick. I just sold a 9.6 like on Tuesday.
Did you sell it for $1,500?
No, I sold it for $1,350.
Oh, you're right there.
Somebody got a deal then. Yeah.
Was it on eBay that you sold it?
No, I sold it on Instagram.
There you go.
Wow, man, someone got a dealio.
They're already ahead of the game, man.
I like to price my books to sell. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's how we open the show, right? Price to sell.
That's right. Pricing this.
Price your books to sell.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I'm telling you, don't sleep on these Disney books, man. This is from Dell Comics, 4-color issue number 108, 8.5 for $1,100, man. I don't even think this is the first appearance of Donald Duck, to be honest with you, but this is one of the earlier appearances. First appearance of Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, any of those characters, all hot books if you can find them. It's funny is I went to the Walt Disney Museum in San Francisco. It's at the old Presidio. You know the Presidio, right, JB?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Presidio. So they kind of, it's no longer an army base, but there you'll see a Walt Disney Museum. And inside there, they had some of the early Walt Disney comic books that based off Disney. And it's pretty cool if you're a Disney fan, just to, like a fan of like Disneyland and how it came about and everything and built it. It's pretty cool if you're a fan of Disney to peep it out. Make the pilgrimage to Presidio up in San Francisco. Ultimate Comic Spider-Man is Sarah Pacelli, 1 in 15. Everybody knows his cover, right? $832 for Raw.
Wow.
Ooh. Whoa. I was not expecting Raw. $2,600. Damn it. Do I have this one? No, I have this one. Yeah, because these are all the variants for it. I know I have this one. What is this one worth? Unbagged, yeah. $355 for 9.6. I'm not mad at that. $2,000 for 9.8. Oof. Because remember that before this, he was in the Ultimate Fallout. It wasn't in his own. This is his first ongoing Ultimate Spider-Man. So there you go. Be on the lookout for that. First appearance of the Watcher. Gotta go with
dude, that's cool.
Showcase Adventures on Other Worlds, featuring the Planet and the Pendulum.
Ooh,
is that Adam Strange? Is that Adam Strange?
Oh, no, look, go back to the picture. That is a huge bladed pendulum coming out the bottom of that spaceship.
Yeah, it looks like Adam Strange, right?
Awesome.
It is. You're right. Good job, Ryan. First appearance of Adam Strange, $750 for 3.0. Highest known value, $26,000.
Wow.
Yeah, they kind of made him he was in the Krypton series, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they didn't utilize him correctly on the Krypton series. They could have done better, man. But whoa, don't see this too often. Is this a reprint? Yeah, this is a reprint. I was going to say.
Edition,
yeah, Batman issue number 1, the Masterpiece edition from 2000. First appearance of the Joker in Cap, $7.99 and 9.4. Get a Batman number 1. There you go. Boom. Got it.
Boom.
So it's a reprint of Batman number 1, but there's certain reprints that have some value to it. Immediately off the top of my head, like I think of Journey into Mystery. Remember the golden reprints? I think those are starting to get more play now. Obviously the first appearance of Thor.
What's X-Men 96? Is that first Moira? Is that first Moira McTaggart?
Correct.
First appearance of Moira McTaggart. 700 for a 9.6. This book has been hot for a minute now, man. I forgot what the speculation was, but $13.95.
It was ever since House of X, Powers of 10.
Yeah, the House of X is when they really started, because she was like one of the main focal parts of the beginning of the story, wasn't she?
That story was fantastic.
Yeah. Star Wars on here.
Yeah, what's that Star Wars?
Look at this.
Star Wars
is
should
this
be
Yelena?
Blowing up here.
Is this the Yelena cover? This is.
That's Yelena?
Yeah. Black Widow #1. J.G. Jones Yelena cover. $500, $550, and a 9.8. She was awesome. Can we talk Hawkeye spoilers?
She was awesome in Hawkeye, guys.
Been enough time?
She was freaking awesome.
I mean, it was really Wednesday. I mean, Tuesday to Wednesday, but I mean,
anyway, I haven't
awesome.
Started it yet.
You haven't started
You're
it yet.
Killing me, bro.
What do you do with your
killing
time?
Me.
I'm watching some other shows.
You suck. Anyway,
there's a lot of TV on, I'm not a conformist. All you conformists watching it when it comes on. What the hell's wrong with you?
I have nothing else to watch. I watch sports or I watch stuff on streaming. I don't watch network TV. Ultimate Comics.
Right to the front of the line.
Yeah. Sarah Pacelli again, and 1 in 30. You rarely see 1 in 30s nowadays. You know that?
1 in 30. That sounds odd.
Yeah. Normally it's like 1 in 10, 1 in 25, but 2011, 1 in 30. That's pretty rare. 575 and a 9.4. Nice. 3,100.
Wow.
Look for these Ultimate Spider-Man. I have a whole run of them. I got to go and look and see. This one's gnarly too. This is pretty cool. Perfect for Halloween comic covers. Look at that.
I like that a lot.
This is by Takashi Okazaki. Wow. $550 for 9.6.
Damn. Oh, that's cool.
This one is dope too.
Yeah.
Very I dig the old feel to it. Look at this one. That's gnarly too. Lucio Perillo. Look at this one. Is this glow in the dark?
Oh, if that's glow in the dark, I'm getting it.
It better be.
That's a black light.
That looks like a black light cover.
They need to make more black light variants. They used to do them before. Everybody is Batman. Everybody has that. I haven't seen this book in a while. This Howard the Duck book. Oh, we were just talking about this the other day. Remember 2000?
The white one, right?
Yeah. This is the Toy Biz variant. This is the comic that is the second print. Look at that. I mean, because Spider-Man 2099 #1 was on our top 10 list, but we were talking about the white variant. This is the Toy Biz second print variant. $435 for a 9.4. Highest known value $2,500.
And I was just talking to some toy people this weekend at C2E2. The action figure companies that is going now sky high because all of us comic people keep buying the action figure and ripping the comic out. So very few now exist intact in totality.
I have one.
But I think that's the way to keep it.
Yeah, I have one. Let me see if I did. But didn't Otto just buy one too? What did Otto get, Ryan?
He bought the Thor one. Beta Ray Bill. I bought the Avengers or Fantastic Four #1.
Hot
damn. That one.
I got this one in a 9.8. Signed by Jim Chung. Now it's at $28.25. Nice. I also have this one. I don't have this one. Ryan has the 9.5. That's the only one that's worth more. $3,500 on July 27th. Oof, hot damn. All right. Well, with that, boys and girls, I got to get out of here. I got to go watch me some Spider-Man.
Right.
So,
let's look at that Danger. Oh, okay.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, I was just looking for.
Get your CovrPrice subscription, and you can look at the Danger book yourself.
For the price of a McRib. I mean, I get lost in that app. I mean, I will spend hours going through those books.
You really could. It's got some.
This is what I wanted to show.
Like, man,
this is one of the one. It's Defenders. It's not a key comic though. It's a random issue. It's Defenders #8 of all things, but it has two of my favorite characters, and I bought it. This is Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer, and the comic is still inside. So I was like,
did they both appear in that issue?
Yeah, this is back when Silver Surfer, Namor, Hulk, and Doctor Strange, the most powerful superhero team ever. Fight me, I'll fight you on it. But yeah, man, that was the Shakers list. That was fun. Any last words, Jack?
No, man, just appreciate you guys having me. Excited to be back, and we'll be back next week with a whole new list.
That's right. JB, any last words?
Yeah, shout out to everyone who joined us tonight in the live, man. Another fantastic live crowd. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up.
All and right. Ryan's last words are going to be showing something off.
That's the one I've got. This is a reprint of issue 121 in box. Yeah, so that's the one I've got. That's
all right. Starting bid is $1. That's impromptu Lord's auction. There we go. I'll find some more. Actually, I was just showing this is the only one I have. But yeah, start looking for the ones that have key issues in them, like first.
And I bought a Fantastic Four 1 with the troll guy on it, and I cracked that one and actually sent it in. It came back in 9.8, so that's cool.
You know what else I collect is the Marvel comics with the 45 records in them.
Yeah.
Power Records.
Exactly. But there's not many key appearances on them. One of them is the first appearance of Baron Zemo, Cap 217 or something like that. I'll go on one of these days on Instagram. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna play the record, and maybe I'll do it on YouTube because I actually have I actually want to find the comics that actually, because a lot of times the comic is fine and the record is shot to shit. You can't play it; it's warped. But I'll play it, and it's like old timey radio voice, and they basically tell the story of the comic along with it. Maybe I'll do it as
beeps. When you turn the page, it goes beep.
Yeah. So I know there was another YouTuber, I think it was Comic Crypto Castle Hills or somebody else who had did it before, where they basically played the record and they went through and spread through. It's pretty fun. It's like this. It's like if you ever seen like an old newsreels of like kids sitting around the radio listening. You know what I mean? It's like Flash Gordon, and that was like gather around the radio, boys and girls. We're gonna watch a show. All right. Hey, thank you guys all for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back maybe not this Sunday. I'll be out of town. I'll be up in Seattle meeting with Mikey Sutton as well as some other people about some cool stuff. And off to see Spider-Man in 20 minutes. I got to go get my popcorn, folks. So till next time, boys and girls, for Jack, Darkside Jedi, and JB, this is TiVo saying keep digging in them long boxes.
Jeez.
Peace out, boys and girls.
Now let's do this! Rewind, select and come again. Pull up that from the top to the very last. Jump.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? In this you shall know that the Lord is faithful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do it! We're here! We're back!
Get to the job!
You can't get fresher than this.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 5 greatest heroes. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
When it comes, I won't even notice. Oh, how so? I'll be too